So we explored this area a little bit yesterday. We walked around in this area. This is really, really wet. It's possible to build trails in there, but it's not going to be easy. But a really cool option that we'd like to explore today with you guys is to come up to the water treatment center. We'll hike up this road a little ways, and then somewhere in this area we could start with a downhill trail, like a mountain bike, fun downhill trail. That's also okay for hiking. Would make a good hiking running trail. And the idea is to find a way somewhere from here to down here somewhere. And it could be like a winding trail. We don't want just a straight single track trail. That's just boring. As mountain bikers, we want corners and berms and a nice curvy trail. The difficult part here in this type of terrain landscape is because it's so wet. So we need to avoid water. We have to see where it's boggy. Well, basically we'll be stitching together sections that are dry ground. So we're looking for bigger trees, less moss. And with a large group like this, we'll bring a little bit of flagging tape. And Patrick can take a couple of you, I can take a couple of you, so we can spread out. You know, we're still relatively close together. We see each other, but we can walk somewhere from here to down here to this area. So we'll be exploring this whole section here. So we are always looking for these opportunities to create loops. You know, you've got an easy access point, you've got a way to get to the trail, get back home, get back to your school, or wherever you want to go to. So that's kind of the idea. So when we get up there, you have a bit of an idea. This is a hillside. It slopes down towards the school. You guys all know this. There's a mountain there, and the hillside comes down towards the school. So the trail will be for mountain bikers. It will be a downhill trail here to here.
We work with in northeast of Kamloops called the Simpcw First Nation. So they're First Nation community just like you guys. And we did the same thing there. They have their little community here is actually called Chuchua and the North Thompson River. And this is all a mountain just above their community. So it's kind of just like you guys, like right down near the water, and then there's mountains up behind you. And then what we did is we started just like we're going to do with you guys today. We went up, we explored the mountainside above the community, and we ended up building this network of trails. And a whole bunch of trails that lead down the mountain, and they're super fun. Does that look like fun? Yeah, right? Cool. Yeah. All right, let's do this.
What's happening here on the road with this water runoff is just the prime example that we want to avoid on trails. And it's good for you guys to know this, because when we're hiking down there and looking for where we can build a trail, you see why we don't just head down the mountain in a straight line. Like, you see how the water runs down and it's slowly eroding the road. Like this road, it's hard packed, you know, they built a really good road here. So it's not as much of an issue on this road. But if we would build trails like this, because we don't have surface trails, which means our trails, they don't have gravel on it compacted, they are dirt, they're just the soil. So this water would create basically a creek bed over time. In many cases, you can't always completely avoid it. But you see what the road builders have done here, and road builders are just like us. We just build narrow roadways, but they use the same tricks, the same design ideas. So what they've done here, they built this little hump up here. In our trail building language, in our trail building world, we would call this a grade reversal. You see, the grade is the steepness of the trail or of the road. The road comes down and then it goes back up. So what it does, it stops this water from running all the way down, picking up more water, getting faster, creating more erosion. So they created this great reversal. Now the water needs to go off to the side.
Actually, road building is a whole kind of avenue for,
This is the forest that we were showing you in the satellite photo. So somewhere along here, we want to get down into this forest and make our way down to the road below. And we want to see if there's a good place to build trail. And eventually what we could do is create a series of trails all down to the road that could go from very easy to, more challenging and difficult.
So this can become a bit of a side hill trail, and I really like the look of that stump with all that moss, and that other tree is pretty cool. So I would just swing around, and you got this nice little flat spot behind that stump. So we would swing around, come back, and then there's another flat spot right down here. Obviously this needs lots of clearing out, or we have to pack some gravel on it. And then one more switchback and we're down where we want to get to. So that is sort of the thought process. And I know it takes a lot of time and a lot of expertise to see these things. We've been doing it for a long time. I just wanted to show you what's going on in our mind, in our head. This is the design process. So we're gonna try and go down there. Be careful, this is really slippery. Don't try not step on the logs, they're super slippery. And then once we're down there, we'll just continue the same process. We look for areas that are dry, and we kind of stitch them together. We go from dry spot to dry spot, and our goal is to end up at the road that's below us.
Careful, ladies.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool tree,
Yeah,
actually.
this is not too bad in here. We can work with that.
So what we would do, guys, if we found, like Thomas and I will be doing for the rest of the day, is basically we would just walk through here, up and down the hill a bunch of times, find a really cool corridor that we like, that we think will make a great trail. And then we, do you have any of that ribbon with you?
Oh, I left it.
You left it. So we have, you know what survey tape is, like
Yeah.
the brightly covered ribbons.
Like,
There's actually some down on a tree right there. We would hang those in a line where we want to build the trail, right? And I was saying before, when you're building a trail, you're creating a story, you're creating experience. So a great story has to have a great hook, like the first line of a great story, like Charlotte's Web. Anybody read Charlotte's Web? The very first line of that story was, where was the farmer going with that axe? Like, you're hooked. You need to know what the farmer's doing with that axe, right? And a trail is like that. You have a great opening, a great trailhead, and then your whole experience is like you're living a story, building to a climax with a big feature at the bottom where you crash or not crash, depending on the story, if you're a villain or not, right? And that's what we're going to be doing with you. We're going to be building trail through here.
Yeah, this is doable.
We just got to find a better access point, but
Good way in somewhere, yeah. Yeah, let's hike up this way. It's a little easier.
yeah, follow Thomas. He's like a gazelle. He'll find the easiest way.